Am I my body? Most people start out, particularly if they're new to any of this, they have no doubt they are their body. They are their physical body. What else could I be? Oh, well, I've learned I have a soul. Well, you have a soul? I mean, you're a body, but you have a soul somewhere in there. And when you die, that soul leaves you because you're the body, or you go with the soul. And then if that's the case, what are you? If you have a soul, or you are a soul, what are we saying here? So that can be one of the first areas you kind of look at as to these identifications. That's what we're really cutting through. That's the main core of all of this deconstruction of ignorance, is deconstructing the false identifications. I am this, I am that, and so forth and so on. These identifications of a self that you aren't. So we're really discovering what you aren't is what you are. What you think you are is what you aren't. And so this is this process of looking into these very specific things. I think I am my body. Well, what's the alternative? And so then we could look at, well, what is your consciousness? What is it that's aware of your thoughts? Like if you close your eyes and you're observing thoughts taking place, what is it that's aware of those thoughts? An exercise I use is to, have a light in the room, or to look outside at the sun, and you close your eyes and you look at the light coming in through the eyes with your eyes closed, and you see kind of this orangey color coming through the eyelids, and you just sit and you look at that orangey color. And then I can say to you, what is it that's aware of the orangey color? Oh, so there is an awareness in here that's it's like it's behind the orangey color, and it's looking forward at this orangey color. What is it that's observing this orangey color? That's one way of looking at, what is this that's looking? What is this that's looking? Another example is, another exercise I do is, you close your eyes and you visualize a dog. And I say any dog, a memory of a dog you used to have, an imaginary dog, a cartoon dog, any kind of dog. When you have the dog in your mind, everybody's eyes are closed, everybody raise their hand. And I look around the room and all the hands are up. I say, so now you're looking at a dog. What is it that's looking at the dog? What is that? We got the dog there, but what's looking at the dog? What is it that knew to say that you're seeing the dog and you could answer the question to raise your hand when you are seeing the dog? What is it that's seeing the dog and has the intelligence to be able to say, I'm seeing a dog, and I can answer the question that I am seeing a dog? What is that that's seeing the dog? Then we have to drill down on that further to clarify that there's something in here, it seems. But some people could say, "Oh, it's the brain that's seeing the dog." And no, that's a cop out. What is it? The neurons in the front, the prefrontal lobes, the occipital cortex. What part of the brain are you talking about that's seeing the dog? Because they have no idea in neuroscience. Anyway, so we narrow down on this awareness that's seeing the dog, that's seeing the orange colors, and then you can be looking at thoughts. What is it that's noticing the thoughts? I say, start thinking of different vegetables, favorite vegetables. Think about it for a moment, then go to the next vegetable. What is it that's aware of these thoughts of these vegetables in your mind? What is that that's aware of those vegetables? That's starting to bring the attention towards this awareness. Then we can relax. We're not going to look at vegetables now. And I ask the question, well, okay, so what is it that was looking at the vegetables? I want you to take your attention, instead of sort of looking upwards at where the vegetables were appearing in your mind, or the dog, or the orange, and instead sort of turn that attention backwards. It's not a real mechanical thing, but it's just the idea of bringing your attention back upon your awareness that was observing the vegetables, or the dog, or the orange at the eyelids. What was it? What is it that's there? And just look, sort of looking backwards into your own consciousness. What do you see? Do you see a color? Do you see a shape? Do you see a body? Do you see a form? What do you see there? And I let them look at that for a little bit. And I say to them, okay, raise your hand if you've done that, okay? Joe or Nancy, Joe, what did you see? Well, I didn't see anything at all. Okay. But was there an experience of awareness being present that wasn't seeing anything at all? Yeah. There's an awareness here, but when I look to see what this awareness is, it doesn't seem to have any substance, doesn't seem to have any color. I can't find anything that's producing it or generating it. And then I'll say, well, is that your consciousness that was looking at the vegetables and that was looking at the dog and so forth? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what this consciousness is. It's empty. Is it empty like there's nothing there at all, complete nihilism? Or is there an awareness in that emptiness? Oh yeah, there's awareness there. I'm aware that I'm conscious. There's an awareness of whether the vegetables or whatever, there's an awareness there. Okay, so your awareness, we've decided, is empty, but yet it's aware and conscious. And it has the ability to observe. Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of like a beginning to enter into your true nature. And we're not going to find anything more than that. We're just going to go more deeply into the nature of this consciousness that's conscious and aware right now, that's always been there. But your mind has been too much focused on the vegetables and the dogs and the thoughts and the images and the perceptions and to even notice what it is that's doing the noticing. What is it that's seeing everything? What is it that's knowing everything? When you really look inside to see what's there. And then as we go further along this process, we're discovering more interesting aspects about this. So for instance, we won't go much further with this, but at this point, but we could. But if you close your eyes and you listening to a sound, any sound you might have in the room or around, and you notice this awareness that we just were looking at, and you're experiencing the sound occurring in your mind or in your head, so to speak. You're experiencing sound. Can you find any distance between the sound and the awareness of it? Is there the sound that's kind of like in one part of your mind and then the awareness is apart from it? Or can you not separate the sound from the awareness of the sound? And we look into that. So we go along like this. Now we're entering directly in. I mean, this is like, by this time, their head is in the jaws of the tiger. They're in the process. And this is what we go deeper into, and it reveals everything. And it will reveal that as this becomes more luminous, it'll brighten up as you put attention on it. It's like you're a flashlight, and whatever you put your attention on brightens up. And so when you put your attention on your attention itself or on the awareness itself, it brightens up. And as it brightens up, it begins to differentiate itself from its environment, so to speak. You start to sense that this consciousness is not connected to the body. That it's not in the brain per se, but it's occupying a similar space as the brain. And we can go into this further, and you can experience this maybe moving away from the brain. You can experience an opening at the top of the fontanelle, and it seems like it's opening and you can float right out the top as this consciousness. But you're starting to redefine what you are. Instead of being the body, you're now this consciousness. That's a huge change in identity. But that's where your liberation and your salvation is realizing you're that and not the body and not the mind. And the mind is the thoughts. That's the vegetables and the dogs and the different things you're thinking. Those are things that are appearing in consciousness, but they don't change, alter, or affect consciousness. And once you start to see that there's nothing like a mirror with reflections appearing in it, all the different reflections can appear, but none of them change the mirror. You start realizing that your consciousness is like a mirror. It's not a mirror, but it's like a mirror in the sense that all of these appearances can appear to it, but nothing changes it. Nothing alters it. No traumas. Nothing can affect it negatively or positively. And when the identification of being a body, being a mind, being a head, or being any of these material things starts to dissolve, and it's seen that you are just this pure, empty consciousness that's aware, and that nothing changes it. You can have a daydream. When the daydream's gone, your awareness is the same. You can have a night dream, and you wake up in the morning, and this consciousness is the same. Different thoughts can come and go, and this is the same. Emotional states can come and go, and this is the same. You start to discover your nature has always been liberated. It has never needed an additional thing called enlightenment. It's always been free. It's just that it's been falsely identified with being a body, being a mind, and so forth. So in this way, we discover very directly that we've always have been liberated. You can't find any example to where we could possibly suffer. All we're experiencing, if a moment of suffering arises, it's arising in the mirror like reflections, and then it's disintegrating. But you're still the same. You're this awareness in which it's appearing.